Hi, this is Richa here. Actually, today I gonna meet you a great personality from Spain, and that person is really amazing. That person teaching to everyone in global language. So let's come and we will talk about how to learn English communications. What is the important things to learn English language? If we will know by the native speaker, so definitely we can get all informations which is really important to know. And after that we also can go in a, like we also can go in proper way to learn English communications. So that person is from Spain, and so let's come, and please don't go till end the conversation, because they also will provide to us really very good tricks and points which is really very required to learn this global language. So are you ready to tell with us? I'm really so much excited to meet with him. Actually, he's my teacher also. I'm also learning to him. Seriously, I'm also learning a lot of things by him. So let's come. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, that's really good. And you're the most welcome at my YouTube channel on the Awesome Blossom English Learner.
Okay.
And I'm really very glad to meet you, sir. That you are really very respected and you are really very kind-hearted person. Because in this age that you are 80, you are 76 years old, and you want to help to the people, which people really very needy to learn this language. And you are really doing great job, great work without any kind of intentions, but you have only one intention to teach to the people. Only like to, I can say you have intention to teach to the people English language as a global language. I can say by that language people actually completely educated. So, sir, I want to actually I know very well about you that you are seriously you are my as a grandpa, but still, actually, I want to tell to my students, my subscriber, my viewers that who's the greatest personality in among us, like as you. So, please, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Robert. I was born in Ohio in the United States. I joined the military when I was young. I was conscripted. I was drafted into the Army, but I volunteered to go into the Air Force, where I spent 26 years. In the meantime, I married a girl from Spain. We raised a family of 5 children. Um, When I retired, I wanted to stay where we were until the children finished school, and our agreement would that my wife with my our agreement was that my wife would decide where we would live in retirement, uh, and that happened in 1998. We came to Spain on vacation in October through January, I think it was. We went back home and she decided in February that she was going to return to Spain and look for a place for us to live. I stayed in the United States for another 6 months until July and sold our property there, and then we moved. I moved to Spain in uh, July of 1999. So I have been now in Spain for 22 years. My wife died 4 years ago, and I decided that I would continue to stay here. What happened when she died is I went into a serious depression. The people at the local hospital helped me recover, and the emergency room doctor told me if I wanted to live that I needed to change my life. Until that time, I really didn't have a life outside of my home and my wife. I never went to bars to have a cup of coffee with anybody or have a chat. But uh, because of the words of the doctor, uh, and she gave me a telephone number of a person to call. Um, I called that person, and she also had lost her spouse, and she invited me to come with her to a group of people who were learning English.
Wow.
That is the change, the turning point in my life because uh, they were all excited to be able to talk with a native speaker. There aren't many people here where I live that are native speakers of English. So I agreed to talk with them, and I came back the following week, and the following week after that, and so here we are now, about 3.5 years later, with me doing daily conversations on the internet with a very few people. We do not have large get-togethers. The get-togethers are simply to have a conversation. There, we do not have topics. If someone wants to talk about something, they bring that with them, and they introduce that to the group. And if everybody wants to talk about it, well, we talk about it. I would prefer to have silence than talk about politics or religion. So we do not talk about those things.
Exactly,
We
exactly.
many times end up talking about language, about
Mhm.
how to use language, how people have learned to learn, how they have learned the language, um, and problems that they have using English. Um, One of the problems that you and I talked about before was pronunciation. Um,
Uh-huh.
I would like uh, to demonstrate how we can use a list of homophones. These are words that are pronounced exactly alike, spelt different, spelt differently, but uh, have, excuse me, and have different meanings. So we, I have a list of words. If you'd like to join me in pronouncing the words, I have them in the chat,
Yeah,
and
sure, why not?
let's see how that works. Okay?
Yeah, sure, sure. So, sir, actually, I would like to say one thing that I that was really disappointed when your wife had gone from your life previous time. So that was really disappointed and really, like I really so much felt when you were telling to us. But I'm really very happy just because of after your like wife that you just try to change your mood and your life, and you also thought really, you also decided really very good decisions to help to the people by this language, because you are native speaker from Spain, and but you are really amazing. And guys, actually, whenever I just talk to Robert sir, at that time I do not feel that he's from Spain. I just feel that he's my granddad. So yeah, seriously. Okay, so actually about the sounds, we will talk about the sounds, sir.
Excuse me?
We will talk. We will talk about the sounds.
Okay,
Or
okay, we can talk a little bit about sounds, about the phonics, the phonetics of English.
yeah,
Um, words words of all languages, of course, are made up of individual sounds, and those sounds are called phonemes. Each phoneme has a particular, a unique sound, and one of the things that we need to learn while we're learning the language, or really, if we could possibly do it before, is learn how to make each of those sounds. For example, in English, there are between 40 and 44 sounds. That varies depending on how you qualify the sounds and who's doing the counting. But um, every word, like I said, is made up of individual phonemes. Um, the the accents are based on different pronunciations of words. Some of the times accents get in the way of understanding, and that's when people need to do something to change the way they pronounce the words. So,
Okay, that's really great, and definitely, like which people also listen this podcast, and definitely they also can learn a lot of things because in front side of us there is native speaker as a great personality. So I'm really curious to know about all questions about the language, sir, especially English language. A lot of people thinks this language is so important. Okay, so we will learn this language. But after some time, they also thinking that pronunciation is so important or not. And sometimes they really very aggressive that we should be learn accent or not because accent is also different if we will talk about UK accent or US accent or like another accent, it's really very hard. So please, sir, actually, I want for my all listeners that please you just sort out all the problems. That what is the important things to learn to be a native speaker in this language?
pronunciation, pronunciation, pronunciation. That's it. I think there is nothing else as important as pronunciation. Um, for example, and I'm going to move into the words that I put in the chat. The first word, could you read the first word?
First one is tongue twisters. Tongue twisters.
Okay, and the next line after that now.
Yeah, heroine, and heroine.
Okay, those two words are pronounced exactly the same according to the Cambridge Dictionary. Okay,
Okay,
okay, so they are pronounced heroine,
heroine. Okay,
heroine. Uh,
heroine.
the first word spelled Heroin is the drug. The second word, Heroine,
Yes.
said exactly the same. We pronounce it exactly the same way. Heroine. That is the female hero in a movie. That is
Yeah.
the hero compart. The female um, person in a movie that saves the day. Okay. Um,
Okay.
Okay, so there's a difference because you are reading it. What happens is we learned sometimes from our mother language how to
Mhm.
pronounce uh, sounds when we see the printed letters. And
Mhm.
that is misleading and does not help us when it comes to pronunciation. Ideally, what we would do to learn pronunciation is to listen and not see anything. Just listen to the sound and try to mimic that sound. So this word is pronounced heroin, regardless of the two ways that it's spelled. It's still pronounced the same, heroin. The next
Heroine.
word, next pair of words, would you say the
Oh.
next pair of words?
Yeah, sure, sir. Horse and horse.
Horse and horse. The
Exactly.
first HOARSE is the way your voice is when you first get up in the morning. Your voice is hoarse.
Uh-huh.
The second
Okay.
HORSE is a horse that you can get on and ride. It's an animal.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
just as I know. Third word is whole and whole. That is also whole.
Exactly. They are pronounced exactly the same. The next pair of words, say the next
Need.
pair of words.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Need and need.
Okay,
Both, yeah,
that's
both
fine.
are same. Yeah, both are same pronunciation, but thing is that there is a spell is different. First is K and E A D, and second is N double E D. Need, need, and need.
Yeah, the first word KNED, excuse me, KNEAD is
Mhm.
what we do when we make bread. We knead the dough. We work the dough. That's called kneading. And the
Okay.
second word, NEED, is when we're missing something. We need
Oh,
it. Okay, we're
yeah.
missing something. We need it. Okay.
Uh,
Um, Again, let's go back to the list and look at the next word and pronounce
new.
that.
Yeah. Next is new and new.
Exactly. New, KNEW, is I knew what was going to happen. I knew that. It's the past of know, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Second form.
The other spelling, NEW, is something that I have never seen before, so it's new to me.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
let's
Next,
carry on to the next word.
yeah. Next word is night and night.
Night and night,
Exactly.
KNIGHT, is um, the guy on a horse in a metal suit with a sword, riding ahead of the rest of the army. He's the knight, okay? And the
Okay.
other NIGHT is when it gets dark, we say, the night has
Uh-huh.
fallen. Okay, the next word then is,
Next word is not and not. Spell is KNOT, or another one is not and OT.
yeah, KNOT is if we get our stomach tied in a knot. Uh,
Uh,
we are really upset, our stomach doesn't feel well. So my stomach's tied in a knot. Or I have a piece of rope and I actually make a knot.
oh yeah. Tied, like tied by any rope. So we have need to a knot.
Exactly. Then
Oh,
the NOT spelling of
not
knot is,
nahi, not
yeah, I was
no.
told not to do that. They did
Yeah,
not
exactly.
want me to do that. It's a
Yeah,
negation. It is the negative, okay?
negative.
So,
Yeah. Next one
uh,
is K and O W. No,
okay.
no,
No
and
is like we had before, new,
uh,
KNEW and NEW. Now we have no, KNOW and NO, no. So
yeah,
KNOW is uh, the current present tense uh, word that means knowledge, that I have knowledge, I know something. Uh, the um, what's the other one? Oh,
yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
NO is uh, again negation, just like we had not before. Now we have no. It simply means the opposite of true is not true. Okay, um,
Yeah, we also can say that I know you.
and I could say no. Don't say that.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Oh my
Okay.
God. Okay.
Okay, there's a very long list, but I think everyone can get the idea that there are words that are pronounced exactly the same. They're called homophones, and uh, they can be useful when it comes to uh, checking our pronunciation, because knowing that these words are pronounced exactly the same, they're spelt differently, and sometimes we are tempted to pronounce them differently. Uh, is
Yeah,
there a is there a word pair here that you see that perhaps you would pronounce differently? They would you would not pronounce them exactly the same?
but Robert, there is a question is that heroine and heroine, horse and horse, whole, whole, need, new, night, night, not, no. Actually, I have questions. That question is that when we are calling to these words, so pronunciation is same. Okay, but how to recognize how to write while the writing sections, how to recognize that we have to write HOLE whole or WHOLE whole, or I can say WRITE, right? Or second word is RIGHT, right? So it's really very difficult while the writing sections, and same here while the reading sections as well.
It comes from the context of the phrase that you want to write, that you want to copy, that you want to um, put into words. It depends on the meaning of the word. So if you're going to if you're going to write something about, um, well, I didn't know that, then how would I write no? I would write KNOW. I would not write NOW, because no means not. It's negative. And I didn't say anything about something negative. I said I didn't know that. No, so I wasn't knowledgeable. I wasn't cognitive of that. So it has to be KNOW, which deals with know, with knowledge.
Okay, okay.
So it's
So
the context. It's the context of what you're wanting to write. Okay.
okay. So like these type of problems, a lot of people, a lot of students also like facing. So like if we want to leave this problem, that how to recognize, how to read, how to pronunciation, how to say KNOW, no, or some people say no, and some people say right, but they also don't know what is the reason why two spell is different but pronunciation is same.
Again, learning how to do that comes with, I think, perhaps the way to learn how to do that is to listen to a lot, listen to a lot of English, read.
Okay,
So it's a combination of listening to a lot of English conversation. That doesn't mean necessarily movies, because movies have large periods of time where there's a lots of action and there's no dialogue. Nobody says anything. So I would recommend that people use maybe the TED Talks or documentaries where people are always talking. So you hear a lot of conversation, um, and listen to a lot of that, because that will tell you not only new words which you may not all which you do not know yet, uh, but it'll also tell you the pronunciation, tell you what word goes before another word, so that we would say that we would learn a little bit of grammar in the process, because we know how people actually say words one after the other. Um, and the other thing, of course, is we want to be able to speak. So talking with someone, uh,
okay,
find yourself a language partner, someone who is willing to dedicate an amount of time to you. So they're going to work for you.
okay.
Uh, And you, of course, are going to work for them because it's a you could set up a language exchange. You know,
Yes.
you teach them your mother language, and they teach you theirs.
Okay.
So you have an agreement, you know, that you spend so much time with this language and so much time with the other language. And during that period, then is when you can do the actual practice of speaking. You talk about anything you want and the other person wants to talk about. You have a conversation, and along the lines, they would probably take notes about your pronunciation, about your usage of words, and then after you've finished your speaking, your talking, then you would get the feedback from that person, and you take notes about your pronunciation or usage of words, and that is the way you would be able to progress and learn the other person's language, your target language.
Oh, that's really great. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Like, actually, it is really very good way if we want to speak. So it's really very necessary that we have to listen a lot and we have to talk with someone. Am I right, sir?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
there are sites on the internet that facilitate talking with other people.
Uh,
I won't say the specific sites, but uh, you can search on internet for um, language partners, and then
mhm.
you'll get a list of sites that are recommended where you could go and find someone who would be willing to talk with you on an exchange basis. That's much cheaper than hiring a tutor. You could also hire a language tutor who you would, you know, pay maybe 15 to 20 euros or dollars an hour or half hour even. I mean, the the prices are very variable, are variable, but nonetheless, you pay money to someone to help you learn the language. But there's an alternative, and that is the language partner, which is an agreement between you and another person to exchange what you know about each other's languages.
Yeah. So I can say that I'm really so much luckiest on this earth and in my life in India because I'm really why I'm lucky because I have your support and that I can say seriously audience that a robot is really amazing personality that he's also teaching to me as a teacher as my mentor as a dad and how can I how can I thanks to him that thank you so much to teaching to me. Even I can't say thanks because he like a robot giving to me timing 30 minutes on daily basis without any paying of the fees. So can you think? Yeah, that's really amazing. That's why I'm very very luckiest. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
So actually, sir, question is like that. Some people says that you are trying to speaking like slowly and gradually. So it is really very good way that we have to try to speak slowly or really very fast at speaking.
Yes, that's one of the things that I have noticed about some speakers learning English is that they may have the idea that uh, they're going to impress everyone if they speak rapidly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're going to impress them, but nobody's going to understand you, perhaps.
Of course, of course.
So the goal of being able to communicate in another
Uh-huh.
language, in a foreign language with somebody else, you need to modify or make your language such that they can understand you. And if that means speaking more slowly, then that's what you need to do. Uh, I myself speak differently with English learners than I do with my social buddies, my friends, because uh, we are not concerned about language. We just, having a good time. But when I talk with people trying to learn my language, I speak differently because I want to make sure that they understand what I'm saying. Maybe I may sound somewhat like a robot because I do pronounce words in an unnatural way for a conversation. Yeah, it's unnatural because I make an effort to try to make sure that everybody understands what I say. Um, so I'm not a good model to use as a typical American speaker. No, I am not. Um,
Mhm.
at least not when I'm speaking with English learners.
Okay. So, sir, actually, idioms and new vocabulary like difficult and really very so much hard that we are not able to read, and it's really very far from our dictionary how to pronounce this type of vocabulary. So new and difficult vocabulary, idioms, slang, it's really very necessary to learn for us good speaker.
Selectively, yes. Slang, no. And let's talk a bit about slang. Slang basically means a kind of conversation or words in a conversation that are used between a group of people specifically to prevent other people from understanding what they're saying.
Uh-huh.
So that's the purpose of slang is to uh, use words in such a way that other people really don't know what you're saying. Well, when people who are learning English hear slang, they think that's cool. They think that's pretty neat. I'm going to do that. What they don't understand is that slang has to be used in a specific environment. It can't be used with everybody because one slang word in one small group may, if used in a larger group, actually offend somebody. And you would be offending them without recognizing that you did it. You wouldn't know what happened. You know, why is he angry with me? Well, because you said something that offended him. So, my recommendation, especially to English learners in the beginning, do not even waste your time trying to learn or understand slang. Better use of your time is learning how to use the language that everybody uses. When you get to the C1 level or C2, you're a master of the English language. That's when you can learn about slang because then you can appreciate where it's used and how it's used. But not until then. Uh, and the same thing goes for writing and the internet shorthand that we see. That those things have no place in a chat area for people who are trying to learn the language. It serves no purpose other than to confuse them. They think, oh, yeah, everybody knows that, but everybody does not know that. And it
Yeah.
is not in the dictionary, it is not a part of the English language. Maybe one day it will be, but until that happens, don't
Not here.
use slang.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't mention. Yeah, your other part of your question. The other part of your question was idioms. Yes, idioms are very important to English learners because they convey an idea that is fixed. Uh, it's not something that's very flexible from one dialect to another. Some uh, some idioms are not appropriate in other dialects. They don't mean anything. There are some dialects in British English that probably won't be understood by Americans and vice versa. But you know, selective dialects are select the dialects you want to learn based on what you are learning. In other words, if you're trying to learn American English, then fine. If you're trying to learn British English, then fine. If you're trying to learn both of them, be sure you keep them separated. Don't mix a British idiom with an American listener. You know, keep your conversation uh, on track with the language that you're trying to use.
So, if we want to learn British accent and UK accent and any, okay, so there's no need to learn idioms.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. I think there is a need to learn idioms, but everything at its appropriate time. Uh,
Yeah.
in the beginning, no, you don't need to learn idioms if you don't know how to introduce yourself. Uh, that's not important at that time. Later on, after you have a good vocabulary and you're comfortable speaking,
Mhm.
above all, idioms are useful in in oral conversation, not so much important when you're learning how to write. I know many people learn how to write before they learn how to speak. They learn how to read before they learn how to speak. I think that is completely upside down. I think we should learn how to speak first, just like I did when I was learning my mother tongue for the
Mhm.
first 6 years. Um, I didn't know how to write. Today, I understand that they are teaching children with 4 or 5 years how to write. But in my time, 76 years ago, I listened to my parents for 9, 12, 15 months before I was able to say very much of anything. Well, we need to do the same. The process is the same. Regardless of the language, the process is the same. I listen a lot and read a lot from Stephen Krashen. Stephen Krashen has studied how people learn languages, and he says that there is this fixed process or protocol that you will not learn um, how to run before you know how to walk. I guess that's probably the best way of saying that, because there is a process that must be followed, whether you are learning it that way or not. Your teachers may be trying to teach you grammar when you're not ready to learn grammar. You might be able to memorize enough to pass an exam tomorrow, but you
Mhm.
won't know it 2 months from now. So
Okay.
if we follow the process and our teachers help us learn the, the 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 appropriate things at the appropriate time, I think everything would go much smoother for English learners.
Okay, now got that. Okay, so thank you so much. And grammar is cleared, speaking is cleared, reading section is cleared. Now we have remained one questions. Could I ask you, sir,
Go ahead.
about the phonetics?
I wish I knew more about phonetics. It's the um, it's necessary to know how to pronounce the words, and if we knew how to uh, use phonetics, we wouldn't have the difficulty of pronouncing words. That's about as far as I can go into it right now, because I do not have the knowledge of using phonics or phonetics at this time.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much. And seriously, have a great good day. And this type of help, seriously, like when the people and students also listen this podcast, I am sure they also can learn and they also can be comfortable. This language is not hard, not difficult. You also can learn very easy way after listening Robert sir.
Yeah, really, I think that's very important that we have fun while we're learning. Enjoy the journey. I know it's hard work, but try to have fun while you're doing it. Read the things that you like to read. Read things that you're knowledgeable about, but read them in your target language.
Yeah,
Uh, all of these things that I'm saying, I did not invent any of this. This is not me. This is things that I have read from the internet, from people I respect and admire. Again, like Stephen Krashen and other people who are able to speak many languages, not just my language.
exactly, sir. So, sir, Shukriya. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. And seriously, this is the biggest help for every learner when they listen to this podcast by Robert Sir as a great personality. Once again, thank you so much to come at my platform on the Awesome Blossom English Learner YouTube channel. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you.